This is King Noble Black Supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to talk about a discussion that took place between Prince York and Taariq Noel, dealing with Dr. MALACHI York and what supposedly went down on the land, or their thoughts, ideas, and opinions about the land and what happened to Dr. York and what actually transpired on the land. They did a video talking about this on Black News 102, I believe. The video's not up there anymore. You might find it on Tar Nupu's page. But it was a very interesting discussion that they had. A lot of things came out. A lot of things was talked about. Different perspectives was brought out. And it just raised certain questions for me on both sides. For one, we have to be careful not to make Taariq Noel responsible for white supremacy and its desire and its agenda to destroy black nationalism and black leadership in this country. Let's make that clear, that Taariq Noel is not responsible for that. Now, he could be used in his naivety as a pawn in their game, clearly, if he's not clear on that. Because from what I was hearing from him talking, he doesn't even understand politics. He doesn't really have a political education and really understand black nationalism and the condition that we are in as a people and the significance of black nationalism and nation building and the politics involved with that. I'm clear that Taariq Noel does not understand that. So in his naivety, he was used as a pawn, as so many others were used in the indictment and the conviction and the incarceration of Dr. MALACHI York. So many was used. Wives, women, sons, whatever. They were used, and they were very naive about this. Let's make this clear, that they were not that enlightened politically. They knew about extraterrestrial beings, and they knew about different religions, and they could speak different languages, but they all was lacking a little bit on political education. And if they knew that and understood how governments and nations worked and the importance of nationalism and community building against all odds, if they had an emphasis on that in their consciousness, then they would not have made the decisions that they made. Clearly, it would not have went down like it did if they had that education. I don't blame them for not having the education. And nor do I blame Taariq Noel for white supremacy itself as a mechanism of destruction for black people. Then you got to add in there, he's one of many people that have come out against Dr. MALACHI York. And probably the least significant, because he recanted his statement. He said that, you know, he changed up a few times. So he's the least important one. So why he's come out all of a sudden to make himself appear as though he's the actual hero or the one that came out, or the whistleblower that took down Dr. MALACHI York, is just not the true narrative of what really took place. So he's taken a lot of flack that he doesn't really have to, and if he had political education, he wouldn't do that. Because no black person in this time should be proud in any way of taking down a black leader in our community. With the condition and situation that we live in today, nobody should step forward and say they have anything to do with taking down a black leader, and not even making it appear that way. Even if they didn't, to even make it appear as though they did, that's not intelligent. That's just not intelligent to do that at all. It's so dumb that Jacob York came out and said, I had nothing to do with Dr. MALACHI York being taken down. I didn't make any testimony. I didn't snitch. I didn't come to court and talk. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't help take down my father. This is what Jacob York is saying. He's smart enough to say that, because he knows the severity of that, of presenting yourself in such a manner. And I think that's a mistake that's made by Taariq Noel, to even play with that. That's stupid. That's something that you should not want to stand in front of, because to tell you the truth, Taariq Noel is not responsible for the the destruction of what happened on the land and to Dr. MALACHI York. He's not responsible, and they would have worked to take down Dr. MALACHI York one way or the other at some particular point in time, because that's their desire and that's their objective, because they fear black leadership, they fear black nationalism. So they was going to do whatever they could do to take down Dr. MALACHI York, no matter what Taariq, Noel, and the other people who made testimonies against Dr. York. They was going to try to find a way. The same way they took down Yahweh ben Yahweh. The same way they took down other black leaders who gained power within this country. They found a way to do it. They found a way. So they was going to find a way to try to take down Dr. MALACHI York. The real question would have been, was he able to stand against that and go against those odds in manifesting a black nation, a black culture, and a new black consciousness? Would he have been able to stand against that? Was he powerful enough, wise enough, or insightful enough to stand against all of that? That would have been the real question. But they was going to try anyway. So let's be clear on that. So Taariq Noel is not responsible for Dr. York being taken down. The system of white supremacy is the one who came and kidnapped all the children and took all of them into DCFS, into defects, and destroyed the land and tore down the buildings. This was white organization of white males, of white men who organized, who in their books wrote that we could not wait till the day we can take him down. We couldn't wait. That they wanted everything in their heart of hearts to see that land and that man taken down. You can read their books that they wrote. Read the book Ungodly. He tells you in the book, Sheriff Howard Seals wanted to see that shit taken down. So we're being distracted by looking at Taariq Noel and his statements and what he's saying and what he didn't say. The problem with what Taariq Noel is saying is he claims that he came out because Prince York said that these testimonies against Dr. MALACHI York were just allegations. So he felt like somebody was calling him a liar because these were considered to be allegations, which seems to me to be very immature, very emotional, very reactionary, and for the most part ignorant. Because why? Now I know certain people from the hood, they from wherever they're at in the streets of New York or whatever, they're tough, they thorough, they whatever. But let me ask you this: if people never experienced this, I'm about to go in on this. I didn't even know I was about to go in as far as I am. If we never seen these things happen, we never seen it, we wasn't there, a lot of us, why would we not say that these are allegations? And why would you not expect us to say that these are allegations, which makes me question Taariq Noel's intelligence level? Because if I wasn't there, I have to say that it is an allegations. Oh, because the white man found him guilty and locked him up in 135 years in jail and all that. He's been found guilty. They found some paperwork or they have some documentation where they did some medical tests. So you want me to trust the white man? That's what I mean. You have no political education. You don't understand black nationalism if you expect me to trust what the white man is doing and saying. So I'm going to say allegations. Not as an attack on Taariq Noel to say that this may have never happened or he's definitely a liar. It's said to be allegations because we do not know. And we are not going to trust the white man, and no black person who has any understanding, love, or respect or wisdom to see the need for black nationalism would trust the white man or expect us to trust the white man, because the white man has never been trustable to no tribe, nation, or ethnicity, not even to his own. So that you're so surprised or so mad or angered that we say allegations mean that you have more personal or emotional logic than you do as far as nationalism, as far as a collective consciousness of black people. You have no loyalty to that. You don't even understand that. Because if you understood that, you say, well, of course you're not going to, anybody can't pop up and say something about an important and significant instrumental black leader within our community that's doing something that is amazing, that is profound and prolific. And then anybody can come up and say something and we're just going to go off on it and say it's the truth, that we're not going to say that these are allegations, that we're going to jump on this because you say it, because you a thorough nigga and we're supposed to just feel you and know where you coming from because you said it, and we don't know you from the man in the fucking moon. So as thorough and as much as you feel that your statement should be accepted because you coming out saying it, we don't know you and we was not there. So we have to say allegations, and you should expect us to, because someone can come out and say, well, hey, you know what, Taariq Noel, your mama is a pedophile. If you didn't see this and you didn't witness this, you're going to say, you know what, these are allegations. Because you don't know. You wasn't there. You didn't see it. So you have a right to say that, okay, those were allegations. So the fact that you don't expect us to have no loyalty to black nationalism, that's a psychological problem. That is a psychosis. You expect us to have zero loyalty. So anybody that come out and say something about a black leader, we supposed to not say it's allegations. We supposed to say, you know what, that's the truth. Yep, somebody came out. It's the absolute truth. How will we have leadership? Anybody can come out and be defamed. The FBI counter COINTELPRO came out and told you that one of the tactics of destroying black leadership was defamation. When they can't take them down any other way, they destroy their name and their character. So how could you have any type of political education and think that we're going to come out and accept the first person who casts doubt and suspicion or says something negative about our leaders, that we're going to jump off it and not look at it as allegations without further investigation and research to see if we can get to the truth of the matter, if that's even possible? You're lucky we even called it allegations, because it could have been called defamation. Allegations give some credibility to it. To call it an allegation is to say that it's even worth investigating, that it's even worth looking into. It could have been called slander, defamation, and outright lies. We don't know. I know damn well I don't know. And it's beyond our logic. It's beyond our rationale to believe a man with so many wives, with so many women, that can pick any woman he wants, that he would be involved in homosexual acts with little boys. And that you expect that to add up to our logic, and you have no possible understanding of why we would perceive that as allegations first, and that we would not jump on that based on our rationale, based on what we have seen. You are insulting our intelligence, because we would have to be fool enough for anybody to come out and say anything against our black leaders, and we just accept it as the truth just because they said it, and because they cried before the camera and they seem upset and they seem like victims, and we're just supposed to accept it. You're insulting our intelligence, what makes me begin to feel that you're an agent. When you insult intelligence, you either really, really lack political education and you're really just ignorant, or really you're a goddamn agent. Because anybody that's been studying any black nation or any black group or organization and study any of our history, we know this to be a fact of how they have tried to destroy black leaders. So anybody with any sense is going to first say, well, let's look at these allegations. So Prince York came out. This is the irony of the story, though. This is where the story gets really interesting. So you know that Prince York was there on the land. He was there on the land at the time these things were supposed to be happening to you in Georgia, in Tamaray, in Edenton. You mean to tell me that you have no evidence that Prince York is aware of what has happened to you? That you can't bring up one situation or one circumstance in passing? That you cannot present any circumstantial evidence to Prince York to say, you remember when you was over there doing that, this happened? You remember when you left the house, this happened? Remember, you don't have any situations like that? And this man lived with his father, lived in the house. He was there. There must be one instance, if this happened so repeatedly, that you all were in passing, that you can lay out the circumstantial situation where this occurred. But now that you're telling me that it's a possibility that Prince York never seen this, has no evidence of it occurring, and you can't even jog his memory to evidence of it possibly occurring, now it's starting to seem fabricated. Now it's losing all out truth altogether. I'm going to still leave it as allegation now. I'm not going to even do that to you. We'll still leave it as allegation. But then this is the next question then. If Prince York was right there and you can't even jot his memory to the possibility that this definitively happened, if you can't put him in any situations or any close proximity to these events that happened on land that he himself existed on, if you can't place him in any of that and jot his memory to any of that, how in the fuck do you expect me to believe it? And I was not there and nowhere near the land. How could you expect me to see it anything other than allegations? Until something comes out to me that seems logical to me to accept this as truth, least I'd be a fool. Not just the white man saying this and we found this and we know this and this, that, and other. Not the white man. Because I don't trust him. And you should know damn well that no black nationalist, nobody in the black conscious community, none of that is going to trust the goddamn devil in 2017. You should know that. But that's the respect for the intelligence of another individual, is to allow their determination to be made up based upon their logic and their rationale and evidence that's presented to them that makes sense. But just because you're crying and boo-hooing and you're telling us our story and just expect us to believe it because you said it, that's an insult on our intelligence. Because if Prince York was down there and he has no evidence of it, how the hell we not down there not going to have evidence of it? And how could we say it is anything other than allegations? My next part, this is my question to Prince York. And I'm not saying this to beat up on Taariq Noel. Because to me, Dr. York, Prince York, and Taariq Noel are all victims of white supremacy, whether they realize it or not. Whenever we going against each other, the white man sitting back laughing. We tear down our own organizations, our own leaders. We can't work out our problems, our solutions. We can't atone, repent, find forgiveness. We can't find transformation and healing within our own community because we are victims of white supremacy. So to me, all of them are victims. So I'm not beating up on anyone. Even if the allegations are false, he's still a victim of white supremacy because in his naivety, he has been utilized by white supremacy. Even if his agenda is popularity and fame and try to make a name for himself, he's still being manipulated by the enemy against his consciousness. And if he had any political education, he would not be confused about our loyalty to our black leaders to the point where we would have to look at certain defamatory tactics as allegations initially. So I'm not beating up on him. But these questions arise from me hearing the dialogue. But my question to Prince York: if your father had all these goons, because you said he didn't have to let Taariq and his parents leave and all that, and he have an army and a military, and you calling yourself a sovereign nation, sovereign nations don't let their leaders get snatched from them based on false and lying allegations. Sovereign nations don't sit back and watch their nation get destroyed if they got armies and goons and soldiers that's willing to fight and believe in what they stand for. They will not take the leaders of sovereign nations without consequences, without retaliation, without grave consequences. And that's what sovereignty is based on. It's based on the repercussions of transgressing the territories of sovereign nations. What are the transgressions, sanctions, warfare? Not begging the white man to realize your sovereignty, begging the white man to pardon you. If y'all have an army and y'all a sovereign nation, then y'all willing to stand up and fight for your nation. And you will not destroy a real nation with a real leader and people that really believe in that real leader and believe in that community without severe repercussions. That's just a fact. That's the law. That's international law. Paperwork aside, you walk over people, you disrespect them, you illegally incriminate them, you prosecute them, persecute them, and destroy them in their nation and their land and their culture, and you think you're gonna sleep good at night? No true sovereign nation operates like that. So Taariq Noel, to me, it's not even a real problem. It's our unwillingness to stand up and be a real sovereign nation and fight the enemy and fight for what we stand for and what we believe in. We fear death. We're cowards. We believe in his world more than we believe in our own, because we won't lay down our lives for what we believe in and what we stand for. So the real enemy is the white man. The real enemy is the devil's system, who wants to take down Dr. York. And if he had an army of goons, it only makes me ask, why was there no retaliation or consequences for destroying a black leader? For destroying a president? Sovereignty is more than paperwork. It must be enforced by the militant actions of those who believe in it. Without that, those who stand for the nation, those who have pledged their allegiance, those who are patriots of their nation, if they don't stand for it and stand for its parameters, its boundaries, and its territories, and protects its diplomats, its generals, ambassadors, and presidents, it does not exist. It is only a figment of our imagination, because it does not become real until we can make it real by our militancy and our ability to strategize as a true nation. And that's my question to Dr. York, to Prince York. If you had all these goons in this army and all this, why was there no consequences on the enemy? The enemy that came and raided your land. The enemy that destroyed Tamaray. Taariq Noel is not an enemy. He's naive. He's a victim of white supremacy. A victim of white supremacy. Jacob, a victim of white supremacy. Materialism, fame, notoriety, make money, sell records, do events, become somebody in the matrix. Victims of white supremacy. The real enemy is coming with guns to shut your shit down. And until you're willing to stand for that and make a statement to that, we're just wasting time with each other. We're just wasting time picking on each other, period. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate, don't hate. Hit the notification button right now so you can turn your notification on so you can get notified anytime I do new videos, put out new information. Black Supremacy.